Hey everybody, this is Grace. In this video I'm going to talk about a few things, but I want to start off with that. I feel myself as a person, I know myself as a person who feels empathy and I think it's in a very normal way. I feel empathy. And there's a black cat that just ran across my path. Oh my goodness. I'm not much on that kind of thing though. But anyway, I feel empathy, and the person behind me apparently doesn't because they honked and doing his hands at me and all that. Yeah. Anyway, so that's kind of telling. But anyway, I feel empathy, and sometimes a little bit too much. I've learned when to curb it and not to feel so much, especially, noticing whenever a person is really faking it, whatever it is. Now, some people would think that they just know because they're an empath, they know exactly, but many of us have been fooled in the past, so. And I'm saying all this, I do feel empathy, I can put myself in other people's shoes and experience that. But sometimes I think some people, not all people, none of this is all, they might think that they know what that's going on with that other person and what they should do. And they think that they know what that person should do, just like I just said, when that might not be the case, and what they think, what they feel could be very wrong and very bad. And I'm saying this because this is the first one out of a few things. Because earlier today I was reading some basically comments and questions people were having online, and people were answering that this is not my first time. I've seen this before and I felt the same. I'm sorry, it's jumping all over the place. But and it's worrying me all the time. I've done videos on it. I have more than one YouTube channel that I've done videos on, and including this. But it's been a while, really, that I think. But when I see people just giving people like advice, basically, it worries me that a person would ask, something like, I have a baby with my husband and he's bad, he's a narcissist, unless he's diagnosed, and I want to leave him. What's the best way for me to go about it? Now, I can understand people who have been through it, people who have empathy, or I can think, oh, look, with the baby you really need to hurry up and get out, or something like this. I understand that. I'm not trying to, I'm understanding of it, but I'm also understanding of this, that giving somebody advice who could be in a very abusive relationship, period, I'm not even, right at the moment, just say that one person. But then when you add a child and or children, or it could be an elderly parent, whatever, just to tell somebody just to get up and leave, that's the best thing to do, or any kind of advice of this is what you should do, XYZ, that can be very dangerous for that person and the children and or the parent or the whatever. Okay, because we're not there in that situation, that actual situation. We don't know him, we don't know her, we don't know them. You see, we don't know the whole situation. We don't know the financial situation too. We don't know how dangerous this person is, especially when you take a child away from a parent, male or female, and if you add on it somebody who has narcissistic behaviors or abusive in any way behaviors, I worry. I worry about people being told this. I see so much, I've seen it over years, so much of people just giving this answer. Sometimes I've noticed more and more recently that people are giving answers like, there's, And it's very insulting to the person who asked, not just that question, but it's as if they're saying, of course everybody knows. No, everybody doesn't know, and know what they've said was wrong. But I can read it, it's very insulting. Well, you should know this kind of attitude. Anyway, but I understand why people want to help. I understand that they say, some would be saying, oh my goodness, there's a child involved, or children, and oh my goodness, we got to come up with an answer real quick. Like I said, it can be dangerous for all of them. And danger, it doesn't have to be just physical, but it could be. It could be very life-threatening. But it could be in other ways. But like I said, I understand it, but it's something that I don't know if, many people, I'm not trying to be insulting to anybody, but we have to think it through. And I don't give people advice, but if I did, if I knew this person, I would say, get to counseling fast. Call a hotline, or call the police, or call the whatever is the situation needed. Okay, but still, even that can be dangerous. So like I said, I don't give advice. Even saying call the police could be dangerous. So, but like I said, I do understand it. So, okay, move on to another one. Another thing, like I said, I was online this morning. I've been up to it since like 6 or so. And online. But I saw something, it was about something about a person's mother or father-in-law, I believe. And it was a bad person. Okay. And so I'm guessing, say this person, father-in-law, was probably around 60 or so. And had basically chastised the grandchild, and the grandchild took up for himself, this kind of thing. It's not my story to tell, but I'm going to fictionalize it a bit. But yeah, or fictionalize it. And some kids will do that, okay, and take up for themselves. That's not a bad thing to be taught, is to take up for yourself. Now, I am of that generation, and this was something that was mentioned, was that really bothered me, was when some people decided to use that, and I had a feeling it would happen. So I've just been doing videos about generations and stuff. People saying all people from that generation do this. That whole all or none thing is not good. Okay, it's not a good way to see things and to stereotype. I don't care which generation it is, or which age group, or which age. Okay, some people have narrowed it down that far. But to say all of them do this, and that all in this case was that they all, from my generation, were taught, think that you must respect your elders. Well, the way that these thoughts come about, and they were presented in a way, was as if my generation is not smart enough to know that it would not be all. My generation is smart enough to know that there are people in my generation that are not good. And to respect someone when they are an abusive person, just because they're older, no, we don't think that way. We don't all think that way. Some do, but we don't all. And that was what I knew was going to happen, was that some people would use that to state, all the people in that generation, they were taught that, and they think that we're not all that stupid. It's very insulting. Now, if I were to say your generation, all of you were taught to disrespect everybody, to not show any respect to anybody but only yourselves, and they have to earn it from you. The word earn comes out funny, but no. You give people respect unless they no longer deserve it. I never liked that when people said, too many people were saying, you got to earn my respect. Now that's kind of rather narcissistic in my view, to think that somebody's going to have to sit there and earn your respect. You respect humans. This is my view. Respect humans, of any age. But when it comes down to them doing something that they take away from that, that's when we move from there. Of course, something legal, not illegal, but you see what I'm saying. Okay, woman, I don't know if you're going to run walking from me or not. She has the right, but right over that place. Right over it. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I ran over that curb because I stopped for her. And hey, I just didn't notice that it was that close. My fault. Anyway, where was I? What I was talking about? Oops. I got my mask on, so I'm going to sound a little funny. A lot funny. Plus, I got allergies. Anyway, let's see. I'm looking at some notes I'd written on it. But it did bother me. And I'm not a person to take up for my generation. I'm not a person to just take up for, anything that just is about me. Because I have definitely heard ignorant people talk about younger generations, generations older than mine. Any generation. It bothers me when they try to clump everybody into one. I've just recently made some videos. I don't think I've made both of them public yet. But it really bothers me. But that's just another way to show that the person is prejudiced. And when they're saying that they're victims, like victims of, a lot of people just say narcissistic abuse, yet they're abusing some whole generation. That's abuse. To say that. And like I said, if I were to say, well, your generation is that, I would never say that. Because it's not true. And it's abusive. So, and that's the whole thing of, and someone will say that they're empaths. Okay, are you really putting yourself in that person's shoes? Somebody who could be reading it, like me, and saying, no, we're not all that, and we're not all stupid, we're not all, does everybody in yours think this way or that way? You see, it bothers me. And I see this, it's strange because I've noticed this more and more often these days, lately especially, but it's not too unusual to me. I've done that in a video where I've seen this since I was a child. When certain times happen, people take, too many people, not everybody in any of this, but they take it out on whatever they can. Their frustrations out on something else. And it could be, the first one I heard was a child was, that, unemployment was high and that women needed to stay home and let men get the jobs. Okay, and it wasn't just women, but anyway. So I've seen this all my life. So nothing new, but it needs to stop. If we don't learn from history, really, look at how it keeps repeating. So, that of people not wanting to put themselves in other people's shoes. Yeah, I have my mask on still. Now to move on to another thing. Phew. I made a video, I haven't made it public yet, I don't think. But it was about people who say, people who make videos. You can make videos on several platforms. It just doesn't have to be just YouTube. You can make videos on different platforms. And I've seen people, who make videos and they say that the troll comes and starts saying negative things, and that or people even comment saying, this and that about them, and they say, they don't even know me. And I mentioned that, what, are you trying to admit that you're fake? Okay. Now I have to say, I don't know if I said it, but I'm taking into consideration what it was said, and how it was said, this kind of thing. Which I wasn't going to go through each one and say this, that, and the other. It was said and done and all that. But the people that I really have seen say this, if they're really expressive in their videos, and whatever it is that they were talking about, each one of them did not fit. It was more that somebody had said, I disagree with you on this topic that you said. I disagree with your view. And then their reaction is, they don't even know me. And anything that they say, but people will get to know you if they watch you. They'll say, they watched me, they commented before, whatever. So I'm taking that into consideration. But I want to say, yeah, there are times when you're going to have trolls. Okay, and I mentioned in that I don't generally get trolls, troll comments and stuff. And but people can. I did mention one that had. I didn't say what it was. Don't dignify it. And the thing about it is, it would be somebody who's never commented, this kind of thing, and they're just trolls. They come by and, okay, mister, you're behind me. Okay, don't hit me. He's taking up 2 lanes, in other words. But anyway, so somebody come by and they say something about you that is so far off the mark on who you are. Okay, like they might say something, well, your problem is you don't have any children. Nobody said that to me, but say that's an example, a fictional example. You don't have any children, so and so. Well, that person could have several children, and that the person they're talking bad to, the person making videos, has several children, or just one, and they don't even need to have one. Okay, so it's just that the troll is a troll. Someone who wants to say something. Now they don't know them. It's obvious. There are times when it's obvious that it is a troll. But what I have consistently seen is somebody who really is more like a copycat too. And somebody making the videos, this copycat, they go around, they do this and that, and then they don't really represent whatever, they don't really know what they're talking about. It's just something they stole from somebody, a topic or whatever, and a thought. And none of it adds up from one video to the next to the next. I've seen this. I'm telling you, I've seen it. Yeah. And so the trolls pointed out, and the ones they're calling a troll, the person who makes the videos is calling a troll, which is not a troll. It's somebody who's saying that's not adding up. Got that? So yeah, I don't think that everybody who says that they have trolls or this or that is, it's just, somebody would say, what, are you trying to admit that you're faking it? No, I'm not. I don't think that. I know that some of us get troll comments, and that there are trolls out there existing. I have turned now to watching more people who are, like empaths. You can feel it, and we all know that, like I said earlier in this video, that we can be fooled. There are people out there who are skilled at fooling people into thinking that they're empaths, that they have empathy, they are sensitive people. Whatever is the case, that they want people to believe, and there are none of the above. They are just very narcissistic, as it turns out. They're very abusive somehow. They don't feel the empathy. They're just using it for whatever purpose. Far too often it's monetary gain, and far too often it's anything. But I've turned to watching more of that, such as I like to watch. There are people who, various channels who feed animals. Now I have known people who are not nice people, and they too like animals. But they're still not nice people. But I see, people who feed animals, feral animals, and especially during the winter time. That's what I'm turning more to. It's not just about animals, but people who are overall, showing empathy in whatever way that they do, or they're just, that's usually one of them. And you can tell that they're good, decent people. They're not somehow around the bend something, trying to do something that's only going to benefit them and not anybody else but them. And like I say, some of them, the way I see them now is that they're empaths, but we all know, especially, if you're with someone in person, you have a dialogue going back and forth, and you can see their body language and all that, then it's different than when it's online and say you don't have a dialogue going back and forth. If they're just making a video, you're not there sitting there talking, chit-chatting with them about it. You might leave a comment, have that kind of dialogue, but that kind of interaction, and but still, it's not the same. It isn't. But we've adjusted. I've been online since actually sometime in the 80s, but anything you call social media, consider that, is not since 1990. So yeah, you can adjust, but you can still be wrong. Okay? No idea what why they've been working on these streets for weeks now, but it's all confusing. Every day there's a different lane, and you got to go in and out and go there. In this lane right here, I lived here for most of the past 20 years. This lane was only a turning lane for a long while. And you see it says lane ends, merge left up there. It does. It just suddenly ends. Boom. So I don't know how they're going to work that. Oh, I can see how they're going to work that. But of course, they wouldn't let somebody fall off into the creek. But anyway, I think it's time to start wrapping this up. But you see what I'm saying? These are things that are, coming from the heart. As we used to say, coming from the heart. And I'm not really, I'm not trying to chastise people, but at the same time, I worry about people who are just, they hear this kind of, like from the start, they hear this kind of advice from just a total stranger, somebody who may not even know them at all, or their background or whatever, and they take their advice. And it could cause, how would they even know? How would they even know? Somebody online, somebody who's protecting themselves, their children, they're not giving, please don't disclose your address and all that. Okay, I said I don't give it advice, but some say that people who have a lot of empathy, or sometimes they disclose a bit too much about themselves because we're trusting at times. I've learned to adjust. Just that. But I do worry. I worry about people who do that. I worry about people who follow people who are fake, who are totally faking it. And, like I said, my experience, a lot of it, that doesn't mean everybody, all of them, just the ones I've experienced. And I'm a social and behavioral scientist, by the way, and I have a little bit of a clue. I have a lot of bit of a clue. But that's what they do. Some of them. The ones the ones I've seen who have said stuff like that, they are faking it. They are copycats. They are people who steal other people's ideas. And again, like I said earlier, it doesn't add up. So, in people, people with a brain notice that not people who are worshiping them, and we can't really. In some ways we can, in some ways we shouldn't blame them, because haven't we all been fooled before in our life? Especially, I can't say especially. I don't have any facts, but I think that too is to know that we have been fooled. It's kind of like I see a lot of people far too much still when somebody has been, their ex was narcissistic, they say, and has a new girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever is the case. And they make fun of that new boyfriend, that new girlfriend. It's not a situation where that person knew that, the person was just as naive as possibly you. Okay? But they want to make fun of that one. They call them names, call them fat, say they're ugly. I don't understand why he would want to be with her. This kind of thing. I shouldn't even say that. No, that's wrong. That's not good. And I worry about people who see things that way. Really. Okay. I don't know. I see myself turning more to talking about survivors, and because I've spent years talking about narcissistic people, dysfunctional families along this line, toxic people. So now I'm turning to this finally, as I said I would, 2-3 years ago? Anyway, I've done some, but yeah, anyway, I'm